Hey guys, what is going on? What's up all you YouTubers, all you gamers out there in the real world? My name is Dave Wapple and welcome to FTD Facts, that channel where we teach you everything about everything. And today, I know you guys probably already looked at the thumbnail, you looked at the title and you're like, okay cool, Battlefield Facts. We're pretty excited to be talking about Battlefield. First of all, this is actually our first video game. Well, kind of our first real video game video, because I mean we did Mario back in the day, but this is totally different. Why is this going to be different? Well, because FTD Facts, we try to talk more about development of your favorite series, and we're not really going to talk about what you can actually do in the game if you're a Battlefield fan, or you have already seen the game, you already know what's going to happen. You've probably played the beta and all that stuff, and who knows, the game might already be out. Ooh, yeah, and before I get in the video, first of all, I gotta let everybody know that this video is being sponsored by GameBeat. Who's GameBeat? Well, let's find out. So here's the thing, gotta ask you a question. Do you play, games on your phone? I know I do, and the most frustrating thing about video games on my phone is the controller, right? But yo, I gotta tell you, GameBeat has solved that problem. So right now you guys are looking at a gamepad that's not just a gamepad, but also a phone cover that locks into position so you can play it like it's almost like a 3DS. It's amazing. Now it's also cross-compatible, it's good for your iPhone, it's also good for your Android, and that's good for me because I use Android. Now guys, not only is it genius because it's also a phone cover, but they've also got shoulder buttons. So if you play shooters or emulators like me, you're gonna want this. But it's not just your typical L and R, they've also got L2 and R2. So I'm like, what? How is this possible? So the link for that, guys, is down there in the description box below, but let's get on to another form of game beat, the beat of Battlefield. So let's start off with our first one. I really want to talk about the rifles of the game, because when I played the demo for this, I was like, man, these are not bolt-action rifles. There were no semi-automatic rifles in World War I. But I was surprised when reading about this, I found out that I was incorrect. As a matter of fact, there were semi-automatics in the First World War. Now, for your own knowledge, the first semi-automatic rifle that was adopted by the military for World War I was the French Fusil Automatic Model 1917. It was a gas-powered semi-automatic rifle, but other rifles in the game, such as the C. Rigotti, actually did exist, and as well the Mondrag in 1907. However, it was used more in the Mexican military. Speaking about guns, let's talk about the snipers of the game. Now, Julian Schmeck, one of the developers, he says unlike previous Battlefield games where you go as far as possible and snipe, the sniping in this game is more about getting that perfect distance. Also, if you guys are a huge Battlefield fan, hit that like button. But besides Battlefield, I want to know, what is your favorite video game series? I know there's a lot out there, like the Arkham Knight series, there's Halo, there's Final Fantasy, there's Resident Evil. Just pick one, put it down there, and explain why you like that series best. Now, Daniel Berlin, he's one of the world designers for DICE, and he said that for DICE, World War I has been a passion project, and that they didn't really decide that Battlefield 1 should go back in time. But when it comes to DICE, the employees have kind of always been like, ooh, we really want to see World War I. As a matter of fact, they even had bets to say when it was going to happen, and it's been on the back burner since 2009. Now, on September 19th of 2016, a YouTuber by the name of Crobat released a video that was a re-release of the trailer for Battlefield 1. This YouTuber took a spin on it by putting all the glitches in the game that were in the beta. And it's actually pretty funny, guys. You guys should really check it out, especially if you're a Battlefield fan, because you'll be like, oh my god, I totally relate to that. Now, when it came to producing this game, first it was created as a multiplayer demo. So in order to get a green light for this, they had to show a multiplayer demo, which they were like, maybe, but let's see a single player. So early in the production, they developed a small demo of the single player campaign, and from that moment on, they were like, yep, we're doing this, because it looks awesome. Now let's talk about equipment failure, because they say in certain battles in World War I, 1 out of 3 bombs would actually explode. We also know that older weapons, they, pretty much jammed, especially if they had bad ammunition. Now the developers were asked if they were gonna put that into the game. They responded saying, well, we don't really want to put it in the multiplayer because DICE has experimented with the multiplayer equipment failure. However, they discovered that most players don't like the randomness. But they did mention that it might be shown in the single player campaign, which I think is kind of cool.
Traction, sir! I can't move her! Come on! Come on, man!
Now back to weapons, one of the biggest challenges when it comes to the developers was finding the audio for the guns. Because let's be honest, these guns are over 100 years old, it's hard to find them. DICE managed to find some people in the United States and even Sweden who owned these weapons, in which then they sent audio teams over to record the sounds. But a lot of the weapons, they couldn't get the sounds. Fortunately, a lot of these weapons were kind of precursors to World War II weapons, and for their gun experts, they say, well, they only just changed a bolt on this gun, it pretty much will sound the same. So therefore, some of the sounds from some of the weapons are actually from their World War II upgraded versions. Now, depending on when you're watching this, because we're doing this before the game is out, you might already know this fact, but when it comes to the Zeppelin in one of the levels, the demos have indicated that when the Zeppelin crashes from being shot down, it'll always come crashing down in the town. But the thing is, the Zeppelin is actually player driven, it can go anywhere in the map, and it can be shot down anywhere. But then again, for all you guys that are watching this after, you guys already know this. Now, for this single player campaign, it focuses more on individual stories, and those individual stories are based off of multiple characters. Now, partially the reason for them doing this is because World War I is such a debated war. For example, some people, and I've even had it here in one of my videos, some people say Germany started the war, some people are like, no, it didn't. So DICE didn't really want to become part of this historical debate, so instead they used the battles as backdrops to the individual stories that happen in the game. Now, last but not least, guys, I gotta mention this, it might not necessarily be a Battlefield 1 fact, but it's one of the reasons why I like DICE. Because DICE has always been on the ball with releasing their video games on time. However, Battlefield Hardline was delayed, and even Battlefield 4's DLC was pushed back until they could fix glitches. But as for Battlefield 1, even with its glitches in the beta, it looks like it's coming out on time. Unlike Zelda, which is taking for frickin' ever and ticking everybody off. Guys, that's it for me here on FTD Facts, so be sure to leave a comment for a future video down there below. We'd like to give you guys shoutouts, but thanks for watching. My name's Dave Wapple, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Cool? Bye. Wow!